just happened to me. Real quick, I'm about to have dinner with my wife. She's upstairs cooking. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I know the washer dryer is noisy right now. Well, you'll let me know if you hear me. But I wanted to share something that just happened. I just had a conversation with someone that I've been friends with on Facebook. I believe I met her once. She came to my house to see a dog. She wanted to get a dog for me, and she came to see it, but they didn't end up getting one. And we stayed friends on Facebook all these years. This was, I want to say, possibly 2019 when I saw her and her husband or boyfriend. I'm not sure. At the time, huge guy, jacked. And I just had a conversation with her because I keep posting, hey, good morning from Singapore. I have to learn to speak your language. Singapore is beautiful. Golly. Beautiful place. I'd love to live there one day, maybe. But I have to say, I was having this conversation with this woman because I keep posting things about gang stalking on my personal Facebook page. And she's always reacting to them, which I found weird because most people, most of the time, I'll post like pictures of my dogs or like jokes or just, just stuff that does not involve gang stalking. And I have a lot of friends. I have like 1,000 friends on Facebook, so people react, people comment. I post a picture of my dogs. People are happy to comment, to interact. But if I post something about gang stalking, no reaction. It's as if they don't even see it. I mean, I know they see it, but they just can't relate, which is understandable because they're not being gang stalked. But this lady, every time I post my dogs, she'll react, obviously, because, she likes dogs. But also, if I post about gang stalking, she'll also react to my posts. And I thought that was strange. I didn't pay too much mind. I figured, she might have a higher level of consciousness than others. Who knows? But she commented something, and I can't remember what it was because it was a while ago. I wrote her a long time ago in messages, but she couldn't see it. But then she wrote a comment on something I posted a couple of days ago, and I told her, hey, check your messages, because it was about gang stalking again. Sorry, something stuck in my teeth. My bad. But I posted something regarding gang stalking, and she commented. So I told her, hey, do you want to, so sorry about that, answer your messages. I just wanted to check if I can see everyone in the chat. Okay, the chat is working, good. So I posted something, she commented, so I said, hey, check your messages. I wrote to you, a couple of days ago. And so she did. She checked her messages, she messaged me back, and I was talking to her. And I'm not going to say her name, I'm not going to say everything that she said, but this is very interesting. So the way that the conversation started is I asked her, let me bring it up. I said, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you also a victim of gang stalking? That was in February. No answer. And then today, she says, hey, sorry I couldn't open my messenger with my cell phone. I'm on my pad, my tablet now. How are you? I said, all good. I'm good. How are you? Pleasantries. And I said, are you also a TI by any chance? And she asked me, what is a TI? So I said, targeted individual. And she said, you have to explain. So I said, are you a victim of civil conspiracy? Because that's what this is. It's a civil conspiracy. And she said, oh, okay. She said, not sure. And I said, uh-oh, not sure is not a good sign. If I ask you a question like, are you a victim of civil conspiracy? Your answer should be a very firm yes, or a very firm no. I don't think so. But to say not sure, it implies that something is going on. So I decided to dig deeper and ask her. Well, I said I hope not. And she asked me, "Are you?" I said, "Yes, 100%. I am a victim of civil conspiracy." And she asked me, "Are you okay with that?" And I was like, "No, I'm not okay with that. Hey, if we don't move in fear, how's it going?" I said, "I'm not okay with it. It's a nightmare." And we exchanged a little bit. And then I asked her, I told her what it was. They sabotage your job opportunities, get your friends and family to turn on you. I told her I have recordings of friends of mine that were talking about plotting to ruin my reputation, destroy my livelihood. Like, I have it on tape. These are people that were still in contact with me when I received this recording, and they were trying to recruit another one of my friends into their groups in order to basically destroy my life, destroy my livelihood, destroy my business. And she said, "That's crazy." And then I told her, I told her who I think is behind this, like the top who's behind this. You know what I'm talking about? And she said, "That's crazy." And I said, "Yeah, I couldn't believe my ears when I heard my friends talking about plotting to destroy my life." Obviously, it's not something that you would ever expect, that your friends are talking about destroying your livelihood, destroying your life, recruiting other friends of yours to join in on this civil conspiracy, all while pretending to be your friend. I actually spoke to one of them a couple of days ago. She gave me an apology. She still put some blame on me, and she started talking to me about the things that were going on in her life, and she was expecting empathy from me. Now, I don't have a hatred for her, but I certainly will not allow myself to act on any empathy, which I do have empathy for her because she was going through some really tough stuff. She was a victim of some really tough stuff as well. And I do have empathy for her, but I'm not going to allow myself to enact on that empathy with someone who was actively, "I heard you plotting on destroying my life, and I heard your plans, and they came to fruition. And here you are talking to me about." Anyways, I think I talked to you guys about this a couple of days ago, but here I am. So she's saying, "I can imagine. She says, "I lost all my close family, brother, sister, mother, and father, some friends too." When she said that, here I am thinking to myself, that's why she can relate to the posts that I've been putting online. I said, "Sounds like you're a targeted individual." And then I asked her, "Have you been affected professionally? Friends? When did this start for you?" And she said the famous year that every single targeted individual states, whether it started in this year or it got worse on that year, which is 2020. It seems that for pretty much everybody, it either started on 2020, they noticed it in 2020, or it started before but it got worse in 2020. For myself, it started in 2007, 2008, but in 2020 it just ramped up way worse, right? So she said 2020, and immediately I was like, I knew it. I told her everyone's situation has been getting worse or started in 2020, right after, last question, because I don't want to bug you too much. I said, "Do you ever get directed conversation?" And I also told her what it was. I said, "This is when people around you make allusions to or references while speaking to you or among themselves within your earshot about personal things in your life that they shouldn't know. Has this happened to you?" Here we go. Sty Excel says it started in 2020 for me as well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I talk to a lot of targeted individuals. I'm sifting through who I want to interview. I give advice to people. I get a lot of private messages on other apps where you can message me about this, and everybody says 2020. It just keeps coming back over and over and over again. So when she said 2020, I decided to ask her about directed conversation, if that has happened to her. Like I said, references or making allusions while speaking to you or among themselves within your earshot about personal things in your life that they should not know. And she said yes, with several S's, right? She said yes and yes. So I told her, "You're a targeted individual." And then I explained to her what the program was. It's a silent, slow program. And she said, "Proud to be, if it's what it takes," things of that nature. Thank you for the compliment. I'm telling you, you keep complimenting me. My wife is right there. You keep complimenting me, one more compliment. You have one more compliment to make. My wife is going to appear in your home. And I'm telling you, she's good from the shoulder. Anyways. Don't play with her. I'm just playing around. But you know, I told her silver lining is that every evil person in your surroundings have or will reveal themselves. That counts for a lot. It's the silver lining, as in the good within the bad, right? Gang Stalking for me started in 2019, but the V2KDWs and everything else started in 2020. There you go. It just seems, hey, Cosmic Queen, how's it going? How are you? Linda Taylor, how's it going? But yeah, so basically I'm explaining all of that to her, and you know, I couldn't believe it, and I kept getting that feeling for a long time. I've been posted, yeah, Lisa Legg, also 2020. It's basically it's the year that things completely ramped up, right? I mean, for me, it started way before. I mean, way before, possibly 13 years before 2020, but it was never as bad. I mean, it was pretty bad when it got to the workplace mobbing. That was pretty bad, but in 2020 is when I realized that my friends and family are in on it. That's when it really ramped up, right? Do I have moderators in the chat? Yeah, Cosmic Queen. Thank you so much, Cosmic Queen. Before I got the chance to say anything, Cosmic Queen took care of it. Somebody give her a raise. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Why is it that your family do that to you? My sister and her and my ex was seeing each other behind my back. That's horrible. I wish I was there. There was a way to block end this. Yeah, me too. Me too. Thank you very much, Cosmic Queen. You're my soldier. So, I basically told her that, I mean, before I even told her, she said I got threats, unaliving threats, and the police was involved. So I told her, and there it is. The police are 100% involved in this. Every single targeted individual who has been dealing with this and has also had experiences that involve the police will say the police is in on it. They're 100% in on it. So I told her, sorry, I just lost where I was. So she says, we exchanged some words of, I'm sorry, guys. I'll find it. Just a second. So yes. Okay, there we go. So I told her if you're a TI and you want more information on the program, it's called gang stalking. You can Google it, right? It's basically what I was saying. I told her to stay strong. I told her I use my YouTube channel to speak up and expose this BS. And basically she said, I saw that, and she kind of praised me for it. She said, I will not bend. In God, she stays strong. She's strong. She stays safe. And she says, stay strong out there, head up always. I said, God will protect you. Amen. And we exchanged a couple of, spiritual words to each other, spiritual encouragements. And that was it. I didn't want to bother her too much. I know this is like a very tough subject to speak on, especially if it's something that you just heard of. I did want to make it clear to her that what the ultimate goal of this is. So I told her what it is, what the actual goal of the gang stalking program is, right? And my hunch was right. As soon as she told me, yes, people make allusions and references to things about my private life that they should not know, I told her, immediately I was like, well, that's not normal. This is the biggest part of, my bad. This is the biggest part of the whole gang stalking program is, though not everyone may experience workplace mobbing, not everyone may experience being followed, not everyone may experience V2KDWs, excuse me, V2KDWs, everyone who is being gang stalked has experienced directed conversation, because this is the ultimate dog whistling. This is how basically they let you know this is happening to you and you can't tell anyone about it. They want you to start talking about it to people. They want you to talk about they want you to talk about, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, because you should, but they just not to like people around you who won't understand you. Like, try to talk to them once. If they don't listen, move on, right? Don't bother them. But they want you to talk about this because they want everyone around you to believe that you've lost it. So yeah, Danielle Rodriguez says this to all jailed inmates for money. Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I was explaining is, um, the directed conversation is meant so that when you speak on it, people go, well, yeah, you're not that important. I think you have an issue, so that you lose your credibility. But we all know, right? I'm not sharing a delusion with you. I mean, even if I was delusional, which I'm not, but even if I was delusional, even if you were delusional, how are we sharing the same delusion across the sea? I don't know you guys. I've never been to Singapore. I don't know C Stay. C Stay doesn't know me. Aside from our interactions on YouTube, there is no reason why we would share a delusion with in the exactitude of this delusion, right? Here we are, Kat Branchman says that she's from the UK. I've never been to the UK. I've never been overseas. Well, that's not true. Well, no, I've never been overseas. I've been to the Caribbean, but that's in America. That's North America. Funny enough, a lot of people, and even in the Caribbean, don't even know that the Caribbean is North America. It's not. There is no such thing as Central America. It's just North America, and then once you get, anyways. But the point I'm making, right? Quite a few TIs from England. Most of the TIs I speak to are from England, but I've spoken to TIs in Korea. I've spoken to TIs in Mexico. I've spoken to TIs in the Philippines, in Israel, in Russia, uh, Greece. One of the first TI I spoke to on the phone, and I hate talking on the phone. One of the first TI I spoke to on the phone was from Greece. I've spoken to TIs in my city. This is the fourth one in my city that I've spoken to, right? So I just wanted to say, I just wanted to share this before I forget it. But yeah, I knew it. She kept commenting on my posts that she could relate to it. She could relate to it. And of course, a lot of my posts involving TIs is the betrayal of it all. Your friends betraying you, your friends plotting against you in your back, your family members betraying you as well. And she could always relate to these posts and always commented. And I just asked myself, how come she's the only person who's commenting on my posts? Usually I'll get no reaction or just her and other TIs that I'm friends with on Facebook. Why is that? I mean, I know her. This is not a stranger on the internet that is being targeted. I know, I've seen her in real life. She's been to my house. I mean, I know her in real life. I've seen her once, but it was just strange. So I decided, after, a year of doing this, I decided, let me ask her. But she wasn't responding. And today she responded and confirmed she's a TI. I mean, as soon as she said she's getting directed conversation, I was like, yeah. I was like, you're a targeted individual. Your family, your brother, sister, mother, friends all turning against you. That's not normal. One of the most common signs of being a targeted individual is people hate you. People in your surroundings. People in your surroundings begin to hate you, and you don't know why. You have no explanation for it. That's not normal. If people hate you, you should have an explanation for it. You should be able to explain why, what happened. But for us targeted individuals, when people hate us, we just don't know why. We don't have an explanation for it. There's nothing to make sense of it all. It's just out of the blues, the people in your life hate you, and they really, really hate you. Anyways, I'm done with the venting, I'm going to read your comments before I go have dinner with my wife. If you guys want to share anything, of course, I'm here. I'm listening. I hope you guys are having a happy happy Saturday. Sorry, Stijxel in the Netherlands. It's happening to Stijxel. Um, yeah, it's insane. So let's read some comments, guys. How are you guys doing? Hope you're doing good. Lisa Leg 2020 stalked by the freaks. That was the first page I found actually on gang stalking. She was the first person I heard say the word gang stalking, and down the rabbit hole I went. Why is it that your family do that to you, my sister? Yeah, that's that's diabolical stuff right there. Are they playing game with us? Yeah. I mean, if you read the newly released FBI documents, let's put it this way, right? Because, anyways, but they speak of hunting people in these files. They speak of that. I think it's a dark web game being played to a certain extent. There's a, there's an organization behind it. There's a actual goal behind it as well. But I think a lot of people who are participating in this, or the handlers, so to speak, they're having a grand old time watching people squirm and suffer, and whenever violence happens, they're super happy. They're stoked about it. What I've been told is that they take bets with each other on what's going to happen when, who's going to break first, and things of that nature. There is no limit to how sadistic psychopaths can be. They have no empathy. What makes you uncomfortable, the suffering of others that makes you uncomfortable because you have empathy, they have a grand old time. They love it. They absolutely love that. So, and it's almost impossible for us to understand to a certain level. Like, we can understand it, you can understand the words I'm saying. These are people who enjoy chaos, destruction, things of that nature. You can understand the words I'm saying. You can't actually understand what is going on inside them. You would have to have no empathy to get it. You know, it would be the same way that you explaining your empathy to them is the same way that me explaining lack of empathy to you, or them explaining their lack of empathy to you. You would understand it, on an intellectual level. You would not actually understand it emotionally. It would be like explaining to a blind man, or a colorblind man even, what a rainbow looks like. Explain the color red to me. Go on. You know what I mean? It's just something you cannot explain, right? So there is a person here that needs to be blocked. Cosmic Queen, DGAF 5150. Out of here. Thank you. Much appreciated. If you're still here. Um, hey, my neighbor are telling everyone you unalived someone. That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Yeah, I don't care. You're out of here. Yeah, it's actually not a compliment, and it's being repeated constantly. And also, I don't actually look like him. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, please. Cosmic Queen. Thank you very much. Hey, again, much appreciated. Um, let's see. Yeah, I mean, the rumors, as far as the rumors go, with you being, with your neighbors spreading rumors about you. This is a tactic that they use. They absolutely love, if they can't use something that is actually true about you, or that used to be true about you, they will just make something up. So These people are nuts. You seem to be taking it with a grain of salt. I see that you're laughing about it, so that's really good. Take it with a grain of salt, whatever. Thank you for Exorcist. Those burps. Kudos to you, Cosmic Queen. Yeah, Cosmic Queen, the Exorcist. Thank you very much. Um, what's the purpose that your family do that? Why are they doing it? There are certain motivations for people around you to do this. The first one is revenge. If you've said something about them that has led them to hate you, or if they've been told something about you or something that you said or did that has led them to hate you, they're doing it for revenge. The second one is, the stick. Um, they're in trouble. They're trying to get out of trouble, and they're basically throwing you under the bus to get themselves out of trouble. The third is the carrot. They're getting paid to do it. They're getting paid to set you up. They're getting paid to uh, enact these abuse tactics on you, whether it be directed conversation, vandalism, things of that nature. And these are usually the reasons why they are doing this. It's either just pure revenge because you've said you've done something to them, or they've been told that you said or did something to them. True or not, doesn't matter. At this point, they believe it and they're getting revenge, or they're doing it to get themselves out of trouble, or they're doing it for their personal gain for money. So either way, they're either evil or dumb. Either way, what they're doing is unforgivable. Not in the sense of like unforgivable as in like, you know, you shouldn't forgive or whatever, just unforgivable in the sense of you should not interact with these people ever again. It doesn't matter. Big dog, corn dog. I haven't seen you in a long time, man. Glad you're here. Wow. my anyways. I'm really happy. I'm really happy to see you. I don't know if you can tell. Um my neighbors are spying on me, not through the windows, through the floors. That is possible. As crazy as what Cat Branchman just said, that is actually possible. They can spy on you through the floors. They have that technology. Did they sell their soul? Metaphorically, spiritually speaking, absolutely. Yes. They gotta go like the video if you're not a perp. Hey, like the video, guys. Like the live. Help my channel if you would. It would be much appreciated. I actually do need it in these times. These are trying times for my channel, unfortunately. And your help is greatly appreciated. I love you guys. They gotta. I did like the video already. Thank you very much, C Stay. This is a great channel for Ti to hang out. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me. Daniel Rodriguez says, new to your channel, I believe I'm being targeted by the Ventura County Sheriff's Department, specifically sheriff service technicians at the jail. I believe they are doing this. I just spoke to another person who used to work as a corrections officer. I'm going to interview her on Monday, and she says the same thing. I don't remember where she's from, but on Monday we'll hear her story. Wow, I believe you, man. I believe you. These systems, these organizations, they're corrupt. They're corrupt. All the cowards' windows are tinted. Really, they lost it, man. England is watching. Hello, chaps. Hello. I don't believe I've seen you here before. Hey, just glowing. How's it going? I was on your channel yesterday night, checking out some stuff. So they create situations where you have to connect the dots yourself. It makes sense for you, but won't if you explain it to someone. Yeah, that's basically how it is. Like they're sensitizing you to stuff, right? So, for example, for myself, gang stalkers will come into my chat and say mean things to me, like say things about my appearance. Your hairline is crooked, your mustache is too thin or too thick or whatever, And then they'll say something like, "You look like Diddy. You look like Kevin Samuels." And then I do a new live, and they come in, and instead of saying mean things, they'll just say, "You look like Kevin Samuels," or "You look like Diddy," making me in the process look mean when I block them for it, right? Because I perceive what is happening. I know that they're doing this because they're trying to get a reaction out of me, or I'll have a conversation with a friend of mine who's very spiritual, right? Her name is Carrie. She's in Australia. She's very spiritual, and we'll talk about spiritual things, which I don't necessarily believe in, but I'm open to listening, right? And learning. And I think there's value in it. And then they'll start talking about these things that we were talking about in private conversations, kinetic or psychic powers or things of that nature, right? Things that I don't really inform myself on, but she talks about it, and I like to talk to her. So they'll start making allusions to things like that in a chat, and only I know that they're doing it because I had this conversation yesterday, right? If you're still here, Cosmic Queen, Nathan Commit, vamos. So yeah, Big Dog Corn Dog says, "Hey people, sorry I'm a bit far up. It's great to see you here, buddy. I haven't seen you in a while. Quite a few TIs from England. It's certainly happening in the UK. Do you have a phone number you can give to the general public looking for help in cybercrime?" Sorry, I don't. I'm really sorry. Nathan Commit says, "It's my first one. I thought we would get two." I guess not. I guess you thought wrong. Go make another account. You'll get a second one. It's fine. You're good. Are you enjoying Cosmic Queen? Are you enjoying banning them? Isn't it fun? It's like whack-a-mole, It's just the only difference is you never miss and it never ends. It's all fun, and it doesn't cost anything. The whack-a-mole game usually at the fair, you got to pay for it. This is free. It's happening all over the world. Yeah, Piba. Absolutely. Oh, that was a jump. Where am I? Oh, yeah, there we go. Other TIs who say exactly what you're saying right now, who are quite well know also join in. I genuinely can't think of an answer apart from money. Well, there is no other reason for them doing it. It's either they're in trouble, they're trying to get out of trouble. They want revenge because you've offended their ego, or through information that they're getting from their handlers, or just you had an altercation and they're aware of it, so they thought it was a great opportunity to recruit a member of your family, or they're getting money for it. And most people are getting money for it, even if they're like super up for it just because of revenge. The money aspect, like, they would have turned their backs on you and just not speak to you anymore, but the money aspect now is motivating them to do evil stuff to you, retaliate. Even if it's something that they wouldn't have done, they're just looking at it like, well, I might as well get paid. It's already screw this person. If I can get paid to mess with them, like, I'm not, because they're thinking I'm not doing anything that bad. I'm just repeating something that he said, or saying what they told me to say. This is really gross. Could you stop with the... Sorry about that. My dog was making really gross noises while chewing on her bone. I'm going to give it to her after. Yeah. Before it was only a sector of society, but now it's global. I agree. It is global now. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's everyone. The targeted individuals have become the minority. Pretty much, it's like a system, like a policing system that everyone is in on, because they don't realize this can turn on you. This can and will turn on you eventually. The only difference between me and you is that when it happens to you, you'll deserve it. You will have earned that because you participated in it. Of course, you deserve it, you know? So, anyways, before it was only a second. Yeah. Are they trying to thwart your mission? It's a little bit more uh, dark than just thwart your mission. They want you gone. I mean, perhaps the people who are participating in this don't actually want you gone. They just want their gift cards. Uh, but they want you gone. The handlers behind this, the actual people who understand what this does to an individual, they want you gone. Gone. Just arrived. Hey, just glow. Just glowing. Happy to see you here. It's not just my, hey, Hip Jesus is for me. Glad you're here as well. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Happy to see you. It's not just money, but fear of losing their livelihood or blackmail. Yeah, it's not just money. They're afraid that whatever is happening to you will happen to them as well. Because they can see it. They can see that this is affecting you, you know? So, yeah. The carrot, the stick, revenge. Money, blackmail, revenge. I heard that church gang stalk. Yeah, it happens in churches, you know. And church leaders, for the most part, church leaders are not good people. For the most part. For the most part. Any leader of any organization is usually not a good person. Because in order to gain leadership in an organization, usually it's because you're seeking after it. And if you're seeking a position of power or you're seeking a position of status, hard enough to get it over other people, it usually means that you're willing to do things that other people are simply not willing to do because they don't see power as that important. They want to help people and they're not willing to let go of their values, their morals in order to gain it over other people. So if you ended up as a leader of any organization, usually it means that you're either really good at what you do and people recognized it, or you're just more ruthless than others, or you're a better liar. So yeah, church gang stalking is not rare at all. Organized crime is better organized than our governments. This is concerning. It is our government. And you would think that the government is not well organized. It's working exactly as it should. It's just that we are unaware of its actual purpose. You think it's there to make our lives easier and better, but it was never that, or at least not for very long. History books have been written by the winners of war. Anyway, I don't want to get too deep in that subject. It is our government in a lot of these cases. It is. Those person mindset is pervert. Yeah, it's sadistic. All right, facts. They take people suffering to satisfy their own emotion. C-Stage just said it precisely. Your suffering helps them regulate their own emotions. These psychopaths, they don't feel like you feel. Doing all these horrible things helps them feel feelings. They're intensely bored with life. Intensely. Things that make you happy, they just don't. It's your birthday's coming up. You're like, my birthday's coming up. I'm going to hang out with my friends and blah, blah, blah. And they're just like, this doesn't bring me any joy. I don't see why you're all, whatever. Or, somebody passes away, you're sad. You go to the funeral, you speak to your family, you whatever. They just look at it like, why is everyone sad? People pass away, In order to actually feel something, they do this. And it makes them laugh. When I want to laugh, I watch Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, George Carlin. They torture people. Sorry. They take people suffering to satisfy. It's called torture where it's organized crime. All right, I got the message. Yeah. How many hours a day do your gang stalkers speak to you? For me, it's 24/7. I'm not able to sleep. Danielle Rodriguez, it looks like you're dealing with V2K. I'm really sorry that this is happening to you. That is horrible. You have my empathy. However, I do not deal with V2K. I don't have that experience. But if ever I do, I will speak on it. I'm sorry this is happening to you, brother. It's a game where they live stream you getting hit with DWs. It is. It is. They are live streaming you 100%. 100%. You know, a lot of us, if not all of us, are on the dark web being live streamed, possibly pay-per-view, you know. The new Coliseum, we are the gladiators. He's much more handsome than Kevin Samuels. One more of them sneak disses and you're out of here. Thanks, Cosmic Queen. Though I don't think I'm more handsome than Kevin Samuels. I think he was a pretty handsome dude, but I very much appreciate the compliment. Yeah, sounds like V2K. It is V2K. I still have that thing in my teeth. What did I eat? Sorry, guys. I need a toothpick. KS is a demon. KS is gone. Exercise done. That's called no NWO torture. Yeah. I have scars because they were so close. Scares. Scares or scars? You mean your family? Oh, you mean like emotional scars? Yeah. Yeah. I'm replying to someone that replied to my comment. Hmm. You might be right. We might be broadcasted on the dark web. We are broadcast. There's no doubt we're broadcasted on the dark web. Not a single doubt. My neighbors just spy on absolutely everything I do. They even watch me shower and go to the bathroom. I've decided I don't care anymore. Let them watch. Let them watch. Let them watch. Enjoy the show. Who cares at this point? You know, radical. One of the tools that you need in this experience with being targeted is radical acceptance. And radical acceptance will help you get over this, get over the fact that you thought you had a right to privacy and you have now found out that you actually don't, because the Patriot Act was signed. You had a right to privacy and then you ended up on a list. So technically, you don't have a right to privacy anymore. You're on the list. Now, the fact that you're on a list, is that illegal? I mean, you can make an argument for it. I mean, between you and I, of course, it's wrong, but wrong and illegal are two different things. So, mm, they hate the truth. They sure do. You know, I was saying that to my friend who I helped her understand her situation, and she helped me understand her situation as well. And I told her, "You're a targeted individual. There is no doubt about it. Everything you told me, that's like, it's not. This is not normal stuff. You know." So, but I told her that, you know, she said, keep up the great work, and I said, I, you know, I intend on hopefully living until I'm 95. You know, I intend on that, and sorry, I'm like reading a weird comment here. Somebody said, love yours, J. Cole." I don't know if it's like a directed conversation at me or whatever, but you know, for now we'll let it go. But it's a song I listen to all the time. Anyways, not the point. Um, the point I'm making is, you know, I told her, she said, you know, keep up the good work, and I said, until my last day, I will shine the light of truth on the plot, the evil plots that the evil schemes that they plot in the darkness forever, until I'm gone. I refuse I refuse to be quiet. Not happening. Not happening. Why would a supposed good person get involved? I choose to believe that it's because they don't want to get targeted themselves. There's all kinds of reasons. So first, one of the reasons, of course, is they don't want to get targeted themselves. Absolutely. Um, the other reason is because they have been convinced that you're a bad person and that going after you is actually a good thing. So, Deborah Casey, my dog is snoring. So there are a few reasons why a good person would get involved in this. The truth is, a lot of the people who have been involved in my gang stalking, I believe from what they've told me, they're either lying to me and they're still participating in it, which doesn't really matter anymore because I don't talk to these people anymore. But what they've told me is that they were fooled, or at least one person that I spoke to 2 days ago or 3 days ago, something like that, who I actually have recordings of her speaking of plotting on my downfall. She told me, these people were in my head talking to me about all kinds of things, and we had a interaction that I didn't like, and when I realized that it was really affecting me and that, it was poisoning my mind and all of, it was affecting my life, I just told everybody to stop talking to me about you and things of that nature. And I don't know if she wanted me to be like, well, thank you very much. I appreciate, it's just like, I just feel like, because she was talking to me about things that were happening in my life as well, and it's true, things were happening in her life and she was having a really hard time, and I'm not downplaying the hardship that she was going through, and I wish I could help her more, but I couldn't. It's like really personal stuff that I can't get involved in, even as a friend. But I just personally feel that it was kind of wrong of her to apologize to me while bringing that up at the same time, like making herself a victim of the situation. Even though I do think, if she is being truthful, she was a victim of the situation because they were using her in order to get to me. I just think, if you are apologetic for what you did, then you just apologize. That's it. Like, don't tell me, oh, here's what you did also to get me to go against you. It's just like, yeah, but what I did didn't deserve that. You were wrong. You shouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done that to you. I don't care what people would have told me. I don't care. They could have told me that you know, said something. I found out. I don't want to say what I was gonna say, but there are several ways that I could have hurt you back legally. This is a person that, anyways, I don't want to talk about it, but there are several ways I could have hurt her back. Not several, but there are two ways I could have hurt her back completely legally. I would have been completely in my right to do so, and I didn't, and I never would, because that's not me. You know, for her to do that to me after what I've done for her, after how good of a friend I was to her, I just think that there's no excuse. If you're gonna apologize, I really appreciate it. Just apologize, but don't bring up my part in this. I have no parts in the choice you made. You know, you either think you're wrong or you don't, and I forgive you immediately. Don't trip. I forgive you. I just don't want to interact with you anymore. You know, there's no hate on my side. I'm not holding a grudge. I'm just holding a barrier. Anyways, that's not even what I was talking about. I veered off here and I don't remember what I was saying. They are haters, 100%. The layered spirits, one of fear accident, had to have spine surgery. Youch. Sorry to hear that. Um, I am evil and dumb. Yeah, evil and or dumb. I cannot suffer any of you. A lot of cops are most definitely involved. Yes, If you like the message, you can also go hype some of the videos on the channel and help spread the message. Please, please, please go on some of my other videos and hype the videos. If you know how to hype videos, go hype them up. It would be very much appreciated. It would help me a lot. Thank you very much, Kat. Cosmic Queen. I almost said your real name. Well, not that it's Kat, it's not Kat, but I almost said your real name. Thank you very much, Cosmic Queen. I appreciate you. Some corrupt cops might be involved. Yeah. You know, there's an operation in Canadian province, state, next to mine, where they're arresting a bunch of cops that were participating in organized crimes, organized harassment, organized crime, you know, pharmaceuticals, things of that nature, and not just law enforcement officers, but civilians who participated in it as well are being arrested. There's like a huge thing going on. They're not giving too much information, but there have been a lot of arrests and there will be more. I love it. Um, Please tell me a time on Monday so I can turn in. I can't say an exact time. I'm so sorry. Well, actually, I can. Well, no, I haven't. I haven't discussed what time yet. I proposed the time to her. I don't know if she answered me back because I didn't check my messages. But the time I gave her, I believe, was 4 p.m. my time, Montreal time. So we'll see what she says. Sister has attachment to her sleep with. Whoa. Sorry, I lost that. Where am I? Oh, there we go. Um, Sister has attachment to her sleep with every 1 million man marches. She'll have gifts. I'm a seer. So childish. Yes, tell them I'm being seen. I don't throw rocks and hide my hands. 100%. It's cool that you have an open mind for different topics. I do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't actually believe in these things, but I do have an open mind because I realize that these things could be true. Just because I don't believe in them or I haven't experienced them doesn't mean that it's not true, you know? Hey, thanks for the floating heart, if Jesus is for me. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. I'm having a blast. Aren't we all, Cosmic Queen? Where's Google's role in all this? Google? I don't know what Google's role is in all this. What Google is doing right now is their role is suppressing. In my opinion, it's suppressing. You know, a lot of these channels that speak on this, if you Google them, you won't find them. It's really hard to find them. Their YouTubes as well. You know, of course, Google and YouTube are the same part of the same company. So I think a lot of our messages get suppressed. And if you Google gang stalking, there is no evidence of this is true. All the people speaking on it and saying that it's true and that it's real, they're suppressed. And what you'll see is this is a belief that people who are dealing with psychosis or mental illness may have, but there is no proof of it. Right? It's like, how does one amass proof of civil conspiracy unless they're part of it? And even if they are part of it, proving it is very complex. It's very hard to amass proof of civil conspiracy. That's why the RICO Act was created, because you have this boss of an organized crime group who's doing nothing, who's not participating in it almost at all, besides giving orders, saying yes, saying no, things of that nature. But how do you prove that he's part of it unless you flip someone within the organization? And even if you do flip someone, how is this person credible in any way? This person becomes credible because the law wants them to be credible. The law wants to believe what he says because they know, but they can't prove that this person is guilty of something. So we'll take this person's word who's close to them and who's giving them away. But if someone within, like for example, Edward Snowden whistle blew on the NSA. He said the NSA is spying on everyone. They're amassing proof, or they're amassing evidence on everyone, so that if anyone becomes targeted, they can use the evidence against you. So they're not going after specific people, they're just spying on everybody. He came out and said that. And he said this can be used to target people in the future. If you become targeted, you're already guilty because we already caught you doing something. And he said it. Instead of the government going, okay, let's investigate, they prosecuted him. You know what I mean? So it really doesn't matter. Anyways, hey Deb, how's it going, Deb? How are you? Greetings to you as well. I'm glad to see you here. Their cars have to stink. You travel with dogs, bikes, kids, workout gear. Yeah, probably. My sister was siphoning my gifts and it emerged, tried to just swipe. Really sick stuff. Yeah, these people are troubled. I love dogs. Thanks for the information. Love dogs too. I'm in real trouble. The neighbor that was stalking my dad was arrested, and his gang stalker buddies really hate me now. A lot of action at the moment, all day, every day. They are criminals, all right. Well, StyXL, if it can comfort you at all, the truth is they probably won't do anything. I mean, I'm not saying that they won't do anything, but the game is much more to intimidate you into getting you to the point of getting you to do something dumb that will hurt your situation, much more than doing something to you, you know? So, they want you to freak out, they want you to crash out. But for the most part, they're not gonna actually do anything. No one is gonna, throw their lives away, risk throwing their lives away, for gift cards or to not get in trouble. So most of it is just intimidation. My brother, he called me a while ago, a couple of years ago, telling me there are gang members following me, and he thought they were going to hurt him. Of course, they never did, because that's not the point. The point is not to hurt you. That's not the point. The point is to scare you. The point is to destabilize you. Fear God, fear no man. It's like so. Good evening. Good evening, Jess. Nice to see you here. Hey. I think they get into the gang stalker's head. I notice it doesn't happen right away, but like maybe 10 minutes in, different people start doing weird things like playing with their hair. I mean, I don't know about that. Swaggy too late. I haven't seen you here before. I don't know about that. Sean Arnold Love says, hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well. Never seen you here before. Told someone I'm the beta testing model. Don't you understand? You will now always be a slave. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people participating in gang stalking don't realize that, you're creating a prison of your own making for yourself. Because you can't turn away from them now. They have a lot on you, and you know too much. So you messed up. You think you're trapping me, you trapped yourself. I don't have their names. I don't know who they are. They were in contact with you directly, probably. You know way too much. Good luck. I showed someone the drones last night. They also witnessed it following me. Yeah. It would be insane if all them random people is involved. I know they get into them people head, make them do the things gang stalkers do. Also getting the jab or not, the big V makes the list. Conform or else. That's interesting. I'm not going to share my opinion on that. But I think you can guess it, that ChatGPT tries to gaslight and say it doesn't happen. Yeah. ChatGPT, Google. I mean, everywhere you go, they say it's not real, it's not happening. Why are we all 32 here talking about it if it's not happening? I don't get the revenge aspect. We've gone over this before, but if you think I'm a criminal, I'm a dangerous or nasty, why would you approach me like that? Well, I'll give you an example, Cosmic Queen. I have participated in, well, no, I wouldn't say participated. I have gossiped about some of my family members, and I've said some pretty hurtful things about some of my family members. One of my family members was being accused of a crime. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't think he is, but at the time I did, and I was talking about that, basically gossiping about it. And I'm sure that if it got back to him or when it got back to him, it was pretty hurtful. And you have to understand that he was actually accused of it, so he's in trouble. Another person that is participating in this gang stalking of mine is another one of my cousin who did something, that, you know, how can I put this? That would be considered immoral, that her father would not approve of, and it is on YouTube for everyone to see. Let's put it this way. And I talked about that, and I said some really not nice things I wouldn't say directly to her in these words that I possibly would tell her, and I would use tact if I would. But really, I was wrong to gossip about both of these people. I shouldn't have gossiped. It doesn't matter that everyone does it and it's no big deal. It's not a good enough reason to gang stalk someone. I agree with all of these statements. Nonetheless, gossiping about people is not okay. It's bad. And the things I said about them were hurtful. So it's only right that when hearing these things, they would want to get me back. And also, you have to consider that, I said certain things about them that were really, hurtful. And I don't think it's, enough to make them gang stalk me. You also have to think of, well, what else did they say that I said? Did they make up stuff on top of the real stuff? Who knows? I'll never know. I don't really care, but I'll never know. So, as far as revenge, usually, for example, one of my, ex-friends was really short. He was a really short person. And the person that I was renting my space for, my dog training school, made some jokes about him being really short. And I laughed at these jokes, and we were saying, she was saying some jokes, and I laughed. And then one of her jokes was really funny, and I repeated it to someone else, and I'm guessing that that got to him, and he turned on me. I used to have the key to his house. I used to have the key to his house. I would walk his dog, and he turned on me completely. So this is what I mean by revenge. Some people are very susceptible to, I mean, susceptible in French means easy to offend, but in English it means something else, of course. But, you know, they get offended easily, you know? You get my point. There we go. Well, I guess Excel gets my point. There we go, Deb. You get it. I have to measure my words. Yes, because people take what you say and run with it, as you can see, and they'll add lies onto it. So I'd rather not share certain opinions, but you know what I think. Anyone who's not dumb will have the same opinion as me and you. Can't imagine Justin Trudeau is playing this game. I don't think about Justin Trudeau ever. You wouldn't if you were sane, so the revenge aspect is only for actual psychopaths. It's for narcissists, psychopaths, and also just people who are easily manipulated. And of course, narcissists are very easily manipulated through their ego, so they're more likely to engage in revenge. But you have to think there's revenge, the carrot, and the stick. But if I use all three on you, right? So for example, I'll think of my uncle that was accused of something, and I talked about it when I thought that he was guilty. Now, he has the aspect of revenge because I said something hurtful about him. And then he has the aspect of the stick because he has charges on him. I don't know that he still has them. I don't know whether or not he still has them, but he has charges on him, or he had charges on him at a certain point. And then the other aspect is they might be paying him too. So he has all three. And he just doesn't see a reason not to do what he's doing because it's going to get him out of trouble. It's going to get him paid. And I'm not saying that's the case. I'm saying, this might be the case because these are the three motivators that they use. So his charges will be off of him. He will get money. And also he's mad at me. He has all these reasons here to participate in the gang stalking and do the little bit of directed conversation with me that he did, right? Which to him is not much. And don't get me wrong, my uncle is a great guy. Great guy. You think I'm nice? My uncle is awesome, right? But he's in a predicament here and he's being manipulated, right? So, good people do participate in this sometimes. And like I said, my uncle hasn't gone to my jobs to ruin my reputation. He hasn't, vandalized my car or anything like that. The only thing he did is he did a little tiny bit of directed conversation. And then when he did it, you could tell he was really sad. He was sad that I would believe these allegations that were on him. He said, I've known you since you were a baby. That's what he said. He looked at me and he said, I've known you since you were a baby. We were standing next to his father's coffin, my grandfather. I shook his hand and he said, I've known you since you were a baby. What he was saying is, how could you say these things about me? That's what he was saying, right? So that's all I'm saying. Yes, psychopaths, narcissists will participate in this, but sometimes good people are fooled and tricked and blackmailed into doing this. I forgive them all. They're all God's children, and God's justice will take care of it. It's all good. I want to thank MAGA for the $4 a gallon of gas. So much winning. I'm not really worried about that. I don't think about the price of gas at all. Though it is high, I just don't think about it. There are filtered versions on the internet that targets have on their device emitting research results as well as providing false representations and information. On some of my accounts on other platforms, I'm unable to find certain accounts that speak on gang stalking. But if I go on a different account, I can find them, which means they either block me, I strongly doubt it, they don't know me, I don't know them, or they're trying to make sure that people who are talking about the same subject cannot interact with each other. I don't know. My goodness, all right, what a war. They feel the opposite, instill fear in you makes the narcissist calm. Hurting someone makes them happy. Exactly. To them, to a narcissist, it's all as life is a zero-sum game. They can only feel happiness by taking it away from you. They can only feel smart by making you feel dumb. They can only, feel good by making you feel bad. That's how it is. They cannot generate these feelings for themselves. The narcissists and the psychopaths. Psychopaths usually don't really have issues of, self-esteem. They just have issues of feeling. They don't really feel stuff, but they don't actually have the same broken ego that the narcissist has, where they're trying to constantly, the narcissist is trying to constantly reassure themselves. Most of the time, psychopaths, they just want to be left alone. But if you offend them, and they're easy to offend, if you offend them, if they feel slighted, if they feel like you're trying to get one over on them, they go all out, and they will wait. They will wait forever to get the perfect revenge on you. That's a psychopath. Narcissist usually will try to get one up on you immediately. Will really try to hurt you immediately. But psychopaths are not like that. Psychopaths are like, all right, okay. And then they plot, and they scheme, and they wait. They're very patient. Also, I need to check the build numbers on their phone in the settings where it says about phone. Okay. Been dealing with gang stalking V2K DWs for 7 years now. 7 years, that's terrible. I've been dealing with gang stalking for 19 years. 19 years. I've never had V2K. I've had DWs though, but it does suck. It's like over 2 decades here, all day, every day. They raid my apartment. 7 years. Thank you, sorry. 2 decades. 2 decades. Yeah. You got offered. That's exactly what the dark web is for. Yep, that is exactly what the dark web is for. For these crazies. Can't read all the comments. Radical acceptance. I like that. Yeah, you just gotta accept that this is happening. It is what it is. Adapt, adjust to the new reality. Because the more you stick around thinking things have to go back to what they were, you'll be hurt. Because you know, it doesn't matter what you want it to be. It is what it is. People have the right to be naked and use the bathroom without stark reporters watching them. Well, of course they should have the right. What I'm saying is that within the law, if you're on the list, you don't have any rights anymore. It's kind of like being in a federal or state prison. You know, you have a right to the minimum salary. You have a right to a lot of different things, right? As a free citizen, you have a right to these things. Once you get into a federal or state prison, you don't have these rights anymore. They're allowed to pay you $1 an hour. So what? You are state property. You're essentially a slave now. Not even essentially. On paper, you are property. State property. So, of course, you should have a right to these things. But once you end up on the list, you end up in one of their facilities, your rights are now stripped away legally. Not, it's not, I'm not saying it's morally right. I'm not saying it's the right thing. It's wrong. What I'm saying is on a legal basis, what they're doing to us legally, it is legal. Legally speaking, it is legal. Sorry, it's redundant a little bit. But yeah, the only thing that you can argue at this point is whether or not you're on this list wrongfully. And if you are on this list wrongfully, then your battle is getting off of this list. But if you were, and then at this point it's like, maybe restitution, but there's too many of us, you know. I mean, I don't want you to like lose hope or anything, because I do want people to fight for their freedom and fight and fight to expose this so that it will end. But I'm just saying, when slaves were freed, they were not giving restitution for slavery. The slave owners were giving restitution for the loss of their slaves. That's real, fortunately. You know what slaves received? Jim Crow laws. All of their behaviors, foraging, walking by train tracks to travel, all of their behaviors were criminalized and they were put in prison for it. You know, smoking za, it became criminalized. It wasn't because za is bad for you and the government wants what's best for you. Where I live, the government sells za and alcohol. You can only get it from the government. So it's not about what's good for you. It's about what's good for them. And back then it was profitable to imprison people for it. Today it's profitable to sell it. Someone is recording, yeah. Who's snoring? My dog. I think my husband is a narcissist. If your husband is a narcissist, you probably should leave. Probably. You should consider it. It deserves investigating. I have more values and self-respect. I'd rather be me than live the life of a sicko. Yeah. There is nothing, you know, though a lot of people who participate in this are not exactly bad people. Some of them have been fooled. Most of them are bad people, but a lot of them have been fooled as well. There is nothing I could be told to participate in this. And I've been given lots of opportunities not to participate in gang stalking outwardly. Like, hey, we want you to join our gang stalking movement. It was more like this person who has done you wrong is doing something illegal and they got in trouble. Share this news article, or share this news report, this like TV news thing about that's speaking about them to hurt them more. And I was just like, well, that's not my job. I don't mess with people. And if they're wrong, then let the law handle it. It's their jobs. But it's not my job to, take revenge on people. I feel no need to take revenge on no one. I'm not interested in that. I just want to live my life, be in peace, and, you know, anyone who's done me wrong, God will handle that. I forgive. I mean, stay away from me, but I forgive you. Go with God, you know? Anyways, gonna get some of that strong Ace government za tomorrow. All right. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't partake in any substances whatsoever. None. What's the Patriot Act? It was what George Bush signed after September, the 11th of September. Someone said a name? Who said a name, Cosmic Queen? Who said a name in here? Don't say names, guys. State property in my case. Yeah, there you go. Illegally made state property. Once you're on this list, you are in fact state property. You're considered an enemy of, well, not state property, but you're considered an enemy of the state, you know? You don't have a right to privacy. Really, once you're considered an enemy of the state, you're lucky that you're breathing. That's how they see it. Open air prison. Why is the warfare so hard? Because they have weapons you couldn't even fathom. And they're itching. They're foaming at the mouth, ready to test them on us. That's why. Sorry. You can't know what's true, a lie, or a joke with me, so you can't put it down like that. What's really gonna make me flip my lid? I love this channel. Thank you for this. Well, thank you, Deborah Casey. I'm much appreciated. Thank you very much. If you'd like to support the channel, like my videos, hype them. Anyone who feels like they have a couple of bucks, like, $2, $3 extra every month that they'd like to send my way to help, consider a membership. If not, just keep watching. Your support is much appreciated. I don't want anyone to give me anything that they don't have. Your support is much appreciated, guys. There's a national website you can verify, registered. Schmex. Offended. If someone lies and claims that's falsely about someone, then that should be red flags. Yeah. I was watching Lisa Legg's Instagram, and she was saying how she kept receiving these directed messages, like directed conversation about an eviction. Yeah, body cam is not a bad idea. Soleil, stone. Soleil means sun in French. But she was saying how she kept getting these messages about eviction or whatever. Hey, Lamels, how's it going? How are you? She kept getting these messages about eviction from people, from like random people. She didn't understand it, so she didn't really pay it attention until she tried to rent a place in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, the port of Spain, and she couldn't. And then she went to go check her credit, and on her credit record, it says that she got an eviction. And she's like, "This is strange. I've never been evicted." But she realized that these people were making allusions to her credit report because there was an eviction on it that she had never even heard of. She never even knew. So a lot of these directed conversations, oftentimes it'll be stuff that you're not even aware of yet, things that they already did to you, but you don't know, And what happened is one of her landlord basically put an eviction notice on her record, possibly because he was pressured to do it. But the goal is to sabotage your life until they've made it no longer livable. But I don't care. You know? I can't think of a better word than cockroach. That's exactly what they are. Who said cockroach? You? Was that you, Soleil? That's a, I don't know. Cockroach is an understatement. Cockroach is an understatement. I would say parasite. Parasite. Worms. Bed bugs. Fleas. Parasites. They are parasites. You can feel their disgusting creepiness. They're piranhas to a certain extent. I would say that they're parasites because all of them do little small things, leech off of you. Leeches, there we go. You know, steal your life, blood, your energy. All of them do little things, just tiny things, so that no one can be held accountable because what they did is too small in comparison to what you're describing. All I did was speak about what you said yesterday. Why am I being held accountable? Because your life fell apart. You know, they live on our anger and fear and diminished light. That's 100% true. That is 100% true. They it gives them joy to see your pain, specifically to cause it, to know that they are the cause behind it. You know, it's a hard personality disorder to understand if you don't have it, and if you have it, you'll just deny it. But yeah, there was a saying about people with narcissistic personality disorder is that they never go to therapy. The people around them go to therapy because they're trying to figure out what the issue is in their lives. But narcissists don't go to therapy, and if they do go to therapy, they just lie. It's like that video. I put out a video on TikTok. I shouldn't have said that. I put out a video on a different platform, and I believe I'm possibly at it was yesterday. I put it out yesterday, and I believe it is at 150, maybe 40,000 views on the other platform. Something like 300 comments, something like that. And the video basically was about an important life lesson. You know, just because someone comes to you with a story where they're the victim, they come to you with a story where someone else is a villain, until you hear both sides, stay out of it. Mind your business, right? Never take one person's side if you've only heard one side of the story. Because the same way that victims will come out and say, this person did this person did that, this person is terrible, blah, blah, the actual villain in a story will come out and say the exact same thing. And sometimes, they'll mix truth with lies, but they see themselves as victims. They don't see themselves as the villains. Bad people never see themselves as the bad guys, ever, ever. The people who are doing this to you, they have all these mental gymnastics in their minds that helps them believe that what they're doing is actually a good thing. So of course it's very easy for them to be convincing with the people around us that they're actually the good guys, because in their minds they truly believe it. I mean, they actually do believe it. The fact that you haven't done anything to deserve it doesn't matter, because now that they've been targeting you, you have done things. You have said things out of anger. So they see it like, well, we just brought it out of them, but they would have done it anyways. That's how they feel about it. Truth doesn't matter to a narcissist. Truth does not matter to a narcissist. Truth, as a matter of fact, there is no such thing as the truth to a narcissist. The truth is whatever they need it to be right now. Whatever they need the truth to be now is the truth. Hey, Brendan, how's it going? Just a second, guys. Just a moment. sorry. Just a moment. Just a moment, guys. I think my wife is done cooking. I think she's been done cooking. I don't know. I'm checking. Yeah, I have to go. I think my wife is done. We'll see if oh, yeah, she is done. Anyway, sorry about that. So, I'm sorry guys, I do have to go. Uh Thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing me out about this story with my friend who, like I said, she kept on liking my posts. Sorry. She kept on liking my posts talking about gang stalking, making references to gang stalking, and I was just like, is she a targeted individual? For those who weren't here before, the reason why I came online is to say that I messaged one of my friends who kept commenting and reacting to my post about gang stalking and talking about how she could relate to it. And basically, I decided to contact her, and after a while, we were able to get in contact. And I asked her, are you targeted an individual? She asked me, what is that? And I said, are you a victim of a civil conspiracy? And she said, I'm not sure. So then I asked her, have your relationships been, it's basically, it's a civil conspiracy. And then she just let me know, like, my friends, my family, my mother, my mother, my brother, my sister all turned their backs on me, and some of my friends as well. Hey, noise. And sorry. And after that, I basically said, it sounds like you might be. And I asked her, what about professionally? Now she didn't answer me as far as professionally, but then I asked her, have you experienced directed conversation? And she asked me, what is that? And I told her, this is when people around you, whether it be friends, coworkers, strangers, whatever, start to make allusions to things that are happening in your personal life, things that they should not know. They talk about it to you or amongst themselves within your earshot. Has this happened to you? And she said, yes, with like several S's. Yes. So then I was like, you're a targeted individual. I mean, I hate to say, but you're a targeted individual. And then she let me know that she received unaliving threats, and that the police was involved in it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. And I asked her because I know in what year this sort of took off. Not it started for people, but it either started or got worse for everybody in 2020. And I asked her, when did this start for you? And she said 2020. So immediately I was like, yep, it's all the the ingredients are there. You're a targeted individual. So that's why I came on live to share this with you guys. So I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you guys listening to me. I appreciate you guys sharing with me. I'll be back in a couple of days. I'll be back on Monday, actually. I'll be back on Monday. See you on Monday, Danielle Rodriguez. Thank you for the encouragement. Cosmic Queen, have a great night. Eating so late. Yeah, it is late. Actually, I don't think I ate today. Did I eat? No, I didn't eat today. So I am hungry. I'm very hungry. I'm actually starving. And I don't want to eat in your faces. Very impolite. So yeah. That sucks. Sorry, Brendan. Brendan says his wife doesn't believe him. That sucks. If Jesus is for me says your wife is likely involved. Now I wouldn't say your wife is likely involved, but it does suck that your wife doesn't believe you, and it's strange. I feel like your wife should believe you. It's your wife. But then again, I have people in my family who are definitely not in on it, and they don't believe me. I have people in my family who are being gang stalked, who still don't believe me. So whether she's in on it to me is secondary to the fact that she doesn't believe you, and that sucks. But you know what I say? Anyone who doesn't believe you, stop talking to them about it. Leave them alone. Talk to somebody else about this. I will say though, it would make for a very complicated relationship if my wife didn't believe me. That would be that would complicate things a lot. Anyways, I'm praying for you, man. I'm praying for you, Brendan. Guys, as always, you deserve grace. You deserve mercy. Love yourself first, always. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care.